If you guys are in a position where you hate your job, you only do the minimum amount of work not to get fired. Look, if you wake up in the morning and you want the day to be over, you want already to be 5 p.m., there's a problem there.
Welcome to Take Action Entrepreneurs Podcast,
where we interview entrepreneurs who took action and got to the top of their industry. And on this podcast, we share with you exactly how they did it. Today, we have a very special guest. Today, we have Cristhian Huamani. He is a 29-year-old millionaire. He became a millionaire through real estate investing. He is a real estate investor. He is a broker here in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area, who is now the founder and president of Hispanic Association of the USA with over 4,000 members. Thank you, Cristhian, for being here.
Absolutely. No, thank you for inviting me. I know it's great. I've seen your videos for a bit now, and I've always wanted to be here, so I'm here now.
Awesome.
Thank you for the invite,
man.
man. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Cristhian, we're going to go straight to the point.
Excellent. I love it.
All right. So what got you into real estate and why real estate?
Okay, so I graduated computer science back in Frostburg. Frostburg, I don't know if you're aware, for people that are not in Maryland, but Frostburg is 2 hours from here in Baltimore, right? It's in Western Maryland.
Yeah, I heard
So
Frostburg, yep.
I went there for 4 years, study computer science, and I figured I didn't know what to do. Like many people, they graduate, they don't know what they want to do. So what I did, I ended up working for the 9 to 5 for about 5-6 months. Now, what happened is the first month was great, make good money. Imagine 23, I think it was 22, 23 years old, making like $55K a year, no kids. I mean, it was pretty good money at the time, right? So, but I was miserable. I did enough, just enough so I don't get fired, okay? So just like many people that are maybe watching, they're in the 9 to 5 and they don't like what they do, I was in that position. But imagine every month, I felt incredibly, miserable. Right? Mm-hmm. So there was something else that I wanted. So I started thinking, okay, how do I get financially free? Because I don't want to depend. I see people retiring, okay, because I work for the Office of Naval Research. So people retired every month, and you can tell in their eyes, like, I wish I did something else. I mean, they're happy they retire, right? But you can tell that they wanted to do something else, that they didn't enjoy the past 25 years. You can tell. So I decided I can't do this. All my energy, my age, youth is just draining my energy, my potential, I would say, my potential. So what I did is I started reading books on financial education, investing, financial freedom. And out of the 5 to 6 books that I read, all of them talked about real estate. All of them talk about buying and holding real estate.
Right. Mm-hmm.
About the strategies. They talk about cash flow, talk about equity buildup, talk about tax benefits, all that. So I decided to say, okay, I'm going to be an investor. What do I start though, right? So I started going to meetups, and I'm talking about maybe 6 years ago. So I ended up finding this, shout out to Real Investors in Bowie. So I learned a lot there, right? Of course, I paid for a course, which, maybe I learned a little bit about wholesaling, okay, but I tried it. It didn't work for me. But I decided to be, okay, well, what's my next step? So because of trying wholesaling, I ended up doing my first fix and flip while I was working the 9 to 5. I want to say maybe the 4th, 5th month, okay? Now, once I got the property with my father was my first partner. So I put $15,000, that's all I had. $15,000, my father put like $10,000, and then he put an additional $10,000 to do the repairs. Now, it was a house in Frostburg, okay? That's where I went to university, right? So we bought the property. The goal was to fix and flip it.
How did you end up back in Frostburg with the deal? And how did you find that deal?
Okay, great question. So we only had $25,000. Where the hell are you gonna find a property, single family to flip in Maryland? And the only places were Frostburg, or Baltimore. But I didn't know anything about Baltimore. But I knew Frostburg because I went to university there.
Right.
So I found a property for I think it was like $27,000. The goal was $27,000. We put maybe $15K. Okay, and guess what? It was me and my father and my mom and my sister, and that's an hour and a half from where they live. So every weekend, picture this: most 22, 23, 24-year-olds, what are they doing in a weekend? On a Friday night, Saturday night, partying, drinking, spending money, right? So what I was doing, I had to sacrifice. The goal was to go every weekend, fix it up. Just me. My father's a handyman, so
wow.
So dude, I don't know how to freaking put a nail on anything. Like I'm horrible with handy stuff, right? But my father is really good at that. Okay, but I got the deal, talked to a real estate agent. That building a team is important. So you find a good real estate agent locally, found the deal. We got under contract. We bought it. Of course, now we need to fix it. So we were driving back and forth. Imagine, the plan was 2 months. It took us 4 months, back and forth, every weekend. Okay, so the goal was to buy for 27, spend maybe $15,000, and sell it for like 95,000. Okay, so when we got done 4 months later, we decided to rent it out. We rented it out. Okay, because remember, I'm reading these books about buying and holding. It tells you about buying and holding. Fix and flip was only because that was part of what they teach you on the Rios too, right? It was a stepping stone. So we decided to keep that property for about 2 years. Okay, it gave us about $1,200 a month for the 2 years, and then we ended up selling it for $92,000 afterwards. Okay,
Wow.
but we got cash flow along the way, right? So that's really what got me started. Why I got started? Because I wanted more than what I had at the moment. Because I knew that if I don't chase and achieve financial freedom, my kids, my little brothers, my little sister are limited because of the limitations I currently have. So I figure if I break that, not only will I break that for myself and be free, but I can also free my kids, my family. So that's why I started, because of that. And how I got started was because I wanted more. I felt like my potential was being drained. Remember, I'm 23 years old. Oh, and I listened to Grant Cardone, like everybody, right, at the time. So he motivated me to take action. I learned sales. So I think it's important. If you guys are in a position where you hate your job, you only do the minimum amount of work not to get fired, okay, and you feel like your potential is being drained. Look, if you wake up in the morning and you want the day to be over, you want already to be 5 p.m., there's a problem there. There's a big problem there. So you need to change that. And the way to do it is read books, go to events where people already have financial freedom, take action. Take action, entrepreneurs, right? People that are watching, if you're miserable in that position you're in, you got to take action. Reading books, go to meetings, look into different ways of building a business.
Absolutely.
You're
So
absolutely
that's what I would say to everybody. It's just I started because of that. I didn't want my potential, my life to be drained. And I knew that I could do more than what I was doing at the time, even though I was making good money.
Absolutely.
Amazing. And a good way to put it. So you got your first real estate deal.
Right.
You didn't fix and flip it. You decided to go ahead and hold it.
Correct.
So why buy and hold?
Okay,
specifically?
that's a great question. So for people that are watching, the old entrepreneurs or the people that are getting started, so real estate is beautiful because when you buy a property, okay, you can buy a property value add. Value add means you can do repairs, improvements, and you can buy it for really, really low price. And not only are you buying it very low because it's value add, but you're increasing the value by doing improvements. And most of the improvements could be adding square footage to the house, or it could be improving the condition of the property. So when you do that, you're not only buying it low, but at the same time, you are increasing the value. So you're building equity. That's what we call the equity, right? When you build equity, you could sell the property, fix and flip, and cash out, profit, right? Or you can keep the property and you can rent it out. Okay, and that rent is gonna pay the operating expenses. What are the operating expenses? You're talking about taxes, property taxes, insurance, management, vacancies, right? And then, of course, if you're buying the property, going to the bank, you have the debt service that you have every month. So the goal of the property, back to your question, real estate is beautiful because you have short-term and long-term benefits. The short-term is cash flow. So you're making, like, if you put $20,000 on a $100,000 property, let's say you have 5,000 closing costs. So that's $25,000 that you invested out of your pocket to acquire that property. But what if you're making $5K a year? So your money is working for you. That's number one. And you're creating an additional income, whether it be $300, $400. Now, with that $300, $400 of every property you get, or every unit, or every door, you could choose to increase your lifestyle, go out more, you travel more, right? Take care of your family in a better manner, or you can reinvest that money and buy the next property. Okay, so it's the opposite of vicious cycle. It's a cycle that will improve your life. If you focus on, like, okay, every money I get from the cash flow, I'm gonna reinvest that. So when you think like that, you're gonna build a very massive portfolio in a short term if you work hard. I think that's kind of what I did in the last 5 years.
If someone doesn't have money, what would you say is the best way into getting into real estate?
Okay, great question. And that's, so for instance, and I'll answer that with a little story. So when I got out, okay, after working for 6 months as a programmer, okay, so I got my license, okay, and I found a mentor. I asked this guy, hey, look, man, I like the property. He was the listing agent of a property I wanted to buy at the time, and we just hit it off an hour on the phone. And at the end, I said, look, I hate what I do. I want to get my license, and I'm going to make you money. Can you mentor me?
So you provide a value.
I said, look, I'm going to make you some money. I just need some training.
Right.
Okay. He saw something in me at the time, right? Hunger. And who the fuck doesn't want people that are hungry and motivated?
Absolutely.
You know, even me now, I'm a broker. If somebody comes to me and says, Cristhian, I need to make some money. I just need you to train me. Really? Okay. Are you willing to drive an hour and a half every day without me paying you to get trained? Yes. Okay. So he's motivated, right? So anyways, he heard that, and I went in and I learned a lot about investing strategies. I learned about sales. I learned about communication, right? Now, he wasn't a professor like with a board and like, you got to do this. No, but by absorption, by looking at him, how he does deals, how he works it out. So that's important for people that are getting started. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you got to find a mentor. You got to find somebody out there that is already doing something very good, which you want to be or do, right? So it's important to do that. So I got one. I got a mentor at the time, and he was my co-owner of the company that I worked before, right? I have my own company, but at the time, he was the one. He was my mentor. So the story goes basically, I was 6 months as a real estate agent, okay? And I wanted to be an investor. But if I go to the bank won't give me a loan because I need 2-year taxes, okay? So what happens then? Then I got to be creative. So what I did for the people that are watching, seller financing. So seller financing, for the people that don't know, I mean, you basically don't need the bank. If you find the owner that owns a property free and clear, you can negotiate with the seller the price, down payment, interest rate, amortization, okay, and a balloon term, okay? So I can go to a seller, let's say he's selling it for $100,000. Mr. Seller, I'm gonna give you $10,000 down. You're gonna finance the remaining, which is $90,000 at 3% interest, amortized over 30 years. And guess what, Mr. Seller? You don't have to wait 30 years for your money. Hold it for 5 years. At the end of the 5th year, I'm gonna pay you off, okay? So think about that. No credit check. He doesn't care whether I make money or not, income-wise. All he cares about is sales price and the down payment interest he's making, right? So it's very, very important to know that. So the point is you can buy properties without going to the bank.
Absolutely.
But you have to find the sellers that basically don't have any debt. And how do you do that? You guys are in the business, high equity owners. Right. So that's super, super important because there are cases where you may not even have to put any money down, just pay the closing cost of the seller.
Absolutely.
When the seller is motivated, maybe the property's in really bad shape. Okay. So for all the fix and flippers out there, I mean, you can use the seller as a
lender,
private money, right?
Yeah.
Lender, correct. So that's how you do it. And that's how I did it. So for 6 months in the business, I couldn't get a loan. I found a duplex from an owner. They owned it free and clear. I said, look, here's my plan. I'm going to give you $15,000. You're going to finance the remainder. And it's going to be a 4% amortized over 30, but for only 2 years. Now, why did I do it 2 years? Because number one, she didn't want to do it for longer. Okay. But number two, because in 2 years, I'm going to have my taxes. And guess what's going to happen at the end of 2 years? I'm going to refinance. And the bank is going to refinance because I got my taxes. Now, of course, I had faith in my ability because what if I didn't make any money as a real estate agent, right? I mean, that was a possibility. I took a leap, a leap of faith.
Yeah.
I did that. And you know what? I mean, it worked out because 2 years later, I refinanced. Now, check this out, though. I bought it for $115,000, okay? I put $15,000 down. And guess where the $15,000 came? Credit cards. Cash balance.
That was like my next question. I wanted to ask you, what if somebody doesn't have the money for a down payment?
Yeah.
And then you answered the question.
Well, check this out, though. Not only credit cards, but, I mean, mom, dad, uncles, right? If you say, hey, I'm going to acquire this property, I'm not going to a bank. I just need that money. Now, how do you pay them back? It's through the cash flow you're getting.
Cash flow, right.
Right? So I think it's important to know that don't limit yourself, especially in real estate, with seller financing and private money. I mean, seller financing and private money are so powerful because the money's everywhere, right? It's the deals. But if you put it on a silver platter, say like, hey, look, I got a deal, seller financing, I just need $15K and the cash flow is X.
Absolutely.
I mean, people that are in those meetups or real estate investor associations, they value that.
Absolutely.
So you really need to know what the strategy and seller financing. I would highly recommend for everybody to go and all the information YouTube and Google, seller financing strategies in real estate. I think that's one of the ways that I started. So that duplex right now, it's worth $185 and the cash flow is right now maybe $850 a month. Okay. So think about that. Okay. Now my balance on that loan is a lot lower. And that's the beautiful thing. Going back to the original question, why real estate, right? Cash flow. long-term appreciation, right? On average, I mean, I would say it's market independent, of course, but in 10 years, it should double in value, okay? Now, it depends on the market. Every market is different. But not only, for sure, even if it doesn't appreciate, let's hypothetically, we're in a market is flat, right? But that if you leverage and you have a loan and the tenant has been paying the debt every month for 10 years, for a fact that balance on that loan is going down. Do we agree on that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because every month we're paying, or the tenant is paying the principal and the debt, right? So it's important to know that the balance for sure is gonna go down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, imagine balance reduction, of a balance reduction and the appreciation. All that is equity.
All of it. Yep.
So think about that. You got 10 properties and you gain an equity of $50,000 each property.
Mm-hmm.
That's $500,000 in equity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's if you buy it already stabilized, a property that's already livable. What if you buy it cheap because you bought it in bad shape, right? And then you do renovations on top of that and you increase the value of the property. I mean, think about that. So that's another level because you're creating equity from the get-go. Okay, so that's really important. I would say that the long term is appreciation, reduction of the balance, equity build-up. Basically, that's what it is.
Right. That's how you build a long-term wealth in real estate.
Absolutely.
I love the way you explained it. Very detailed, so I don't think anybody would have questions. But if they do, we'll have his social media up there.
Absolutely.
You mentioned that you bought it with credit.
I want to get into that.
Yeah, give us what type of websites did you use?
Okay.
Credit cards, because
Right.
I feel like a lot of people, well, at least when I heard somebody on a podcast say I bought a house with credit cards, I was confused. I was like, so you brought this to escrow, you gave them the credit cards, and then I was confused, like, how do you do that?
Okay, so there's different types. I heard one of the popular ways is you get a commercial credit. I think there's websites out there. I forget the names. We'll put it on the link there, but there's websites where you get a LLC, right? And you get this company that basically applies to many credit cards. And then you do what you call, I forget the name, but you basically cash balance, or like you grab cash from the credit cards.
And that's only specific credit cards that do that, correct?
Right. So there's companies that specialize. They literally apply to like dozens of credit cards, and they basically give you a line of credit across all the credit cards. It's insane. I've never done it, to be transparent, but when I mean credit card, this is what happened to me. I created a relationship with Navy Federal Credit Union. Remember I told you I work for the Office of Naval Research? So I wasn't in the military, but if you work as a contractor, you have access to them. So they were very trustworthy. So I got a credit card. I use it wisely. And that's the other thing. Credit matters. So make sure you start your credit and you improve your credit. Get above 720. Google how to improve my credit score. Do it today, because that's super important via when you purchase or via when you refinance. Okay, super important in any business, but in real estate, if the higher credit you have, less interest you will pay, more opportunities you'll be able to acquire. So very important to get your credit up. Very important. But credit card, so I built it to the point where it was, I think it was $20,000 per credit card. And I had 3 credit cards.
Wow.
So I was able to grab 15, 20K, right? Now, again, that's like 25, 30% interest. Okay.
Right.
So I was also on a leap of faith that I was going to get a commission and pay that off fast, which I did. So sometimes you have to have faith in your abilities. It's not about, you won't be able to know everything with certainty all the time. There will be times where you have to take the leap of faith, but be confident about it. Have faith in your abilities. It's very important.
At the end of the day, you're a risk taker.
Right.
That's what makes you
Right.
an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, you took action.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. But yeah, so real estate. I would say another strategy that has helped me besides the seller financing, I talk about the BRRRR method. I mean, the BRRRR method, everybody can Google it. BRRRR method, incredible strategy. So just to give everybody a quick run through it, because I love talking about it. One of my favorite strategies that I use to build my portfolio. So hypothetically, let's talk about an example. It's a simple single family house, right? The houses are selling for 100, 105, 110, 100,000 on that neighborhood. We'll call it comparables, right? So now we're going to buy a property with cash. Now that cash could be from our uncle, anybody, private money, right? So you buy it for what? 50,000, and you fix it up with 20,000. What is that? 70,000 all in, right? So now, do you think that property, after you bought it for 50 and invested 20,000 to renovate it, do you think it's worth 70 or it's worth 100,000 in this example? if the neighborhood is selling for 110, 105, 100,000. Of course, it's going to be 100,000, right? Because you're making improvements. So once you invested the $70,000, okay, you're going to rent that property to $1,000. Okay. Now you have a cash flowing property. You invested $70K. And what you're gonna do now is you're gonna go to a bank, and the bank is gonna basically give you 70% of the equity you have. Now in this example you have 100% equity, because let's say it's your money, right? So what's 70% of 100,000? 70,000. How much did you invest it on the deal? 70,000. So the bank is gonna give you the 70,000. You're gonna pay $400 a month of mortgage. You're making $1,000. So $1,000 minus $200, let's say property taxes, insurance, right? Minus 400, which is the mortgage, because you already have your 70K back in the bank. Okay, so that's like $600. How much was the rent? $1,000. So you're making $400 a month cash flow after paying everything, and you have your money back,
right?
And 30% on that property, because you only took out 70%. So imagine that. What do you do with the 70? You do it again.
Wow, okay. That's crazy, because basically you can use both of the strategies you just mentioned. So you can go ahead and do a seller finance deal.
I love that. I've done that a few times.
And then do the BRRRR strategy.
Oh, yep.
And you make money literally with $0.
Absolutely, I did that. I mean, I have a deal under contract right now with seller financing. So yeah, I mean, I did one maybe a year ago also where I think the sales price was like 60, and I gave him 10 grand, and I told him just hold it for 6 months. Hold it for 6 months, yeah.
How are you finding your deals at the moment?
Okay, so there is a personal relationship with other agents in the area. A lot of people underestimate working with other agents, but you have to work with the right agents. You have to work with investors' agents, okay? Investors' agent. What does that mean? Is an agent that 80% of what they do is value-add properties, is seller financing deals, okay? Is the BRRRR method, right? These value-add properties. So I could do an advice for everybody who's watching to find deals is go on, if you are very sophisticated, I guess you go to Propstream, you could go to the MLS, right?
Source, yeah.
Yeah. Now, but for the people that are getting started, no money to invest, right? No money to start, you can go to Zillow, okay? Once you go to Zillow or homesnap.com is really good. And I will tell you why. Go to homesnap.com right now. Step number 1. Step number 2, put the city or state you want to go. Okay, step number 2. Step number 3, you're going to find the properties that sold that were value add. Now, how can you find that? So Zillow, okay, as HomeSnap, I'm sure they do too, but Zillow allows you to put a keyword finder. So you could put cash only on those keywords. So what that's going to happen is going to give you all the properties that's going to show you are going to be the properties where that agent literally wrote on the description of each property, this property will sell for only cash. What does it mean when an agent puts cash only there? That means that the property could not be bought with traditional financing. Yep. That means that it needs work, or the seller just wants to sell it quick, right? So you want to find those properties. Now, why am I looking at the sold properties that said cash only? Because the listing agent or the buyer's agent, there is a high likelihood that these agents are investors' agents. So what you're going to do is you're going to email them. Hey, look, I'm an investor. I don't have an agent. I want to work with you in a deal similar to ABC 123 or 123 ABC. Here is my proof of funds. Here is what I have. I'm looking for properties just like that. Keep me on your list.
That's fucking genius, man.
Now you do that dozens and dozens and dozens of times, and you're gonna get deals.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
So that's to answer your question.
That's a gem right there.
Yeah. So what type of real estate are you investing in at the moment? Are you doing single family, multifamily?
Excellent. So I have most of my portfolio. I have a bunch of single fams. I have 4 duplexes. I have 6-unit building that I bought like 6 months ago.
Wow.
6-unit building, a 4-unit building. I would say residential, most of it. Multifamily, but I would say small multifamily, like 6 units or less. I love everything that gives me cash flow. Anything that I can increase the value, increase rent, right? Or decrease operating expenses. So just to give everybody, 5 units or more is treated as commercial, because you have to get a commercial fine. Now, the lenders look at it, to give you an example. So when you look at a single family home, how do you know what the value of that property is? you're looking at 3 variables: where it's located, location, right? Composition, how many bedrooms, square footage, right? And then condition. Is it absolutely renovated or it hasn't been renovated in 30 years, right? So those are three variables. When you're dealing at 5 units or more, you're dealing with financial performance. Then you're dealing, okay, what's my net operating income? So what's my gross minus my operating expenses? That's the net operating income. What is that, right? You divide in net operating income divided by the sales price, and then you get what we call a cap rate, a financial indicator. So not to make it in detail, but what I'm saying is you have to know the opportunities. In these buildings, like the 6-unit building, you have to identify, how do I reduce operating expenses? Like maybe I'm spending a lot of water on the water bill, right? So maybe change toilets. Then it goes from having a bill of $2,000 a year to $1,500. Okay. So those $500, I mean, they may not look a lot, but if you do that across the board, you're going to save a lot of money.
Absolutely.
And if you save in operating expenses, your net operating income is going to be higher. And if your net operating income is higher, the sales price, the value is higher, and you can sell it. You can flip multifamily like that.
Right.
Okay. So anyways, that's just to give you an idea. So I do a lot. Most of it is residential. I'm getting into the commercial now. But it's incredible, man. I think everybody should be a landlord. Everybody should be a landlord because you deal with all types of people. Now, everybody should be a landlord and deal with the tenants because it's tough to get started. But you learn so much about human nature. I can meet somebody right now in like 1 minute. I can pretty much tell you the nature of that person. If he's lying, not lying, if he's good people or not, you can. Because you can sense the energy since you deal with so many people, right?
It's a people's business.
Oh yeah, you can sense that, and this has helped me across my business in general. Like even the startup that we'll talk about in a little bit, it's helped me across my life. Just dealing with people. Problems are good. I love problems because problems you got to solve them, right? And you got to go to experts or you got to solve it yourself. So if you got to solve it yourself, you may be frustrated, but you're gonna get it done. If you delegate, you're gonna learn. You're gonna pay. You're gonna learn, but you're gonna solve your problem. So I love that. With tenants. I mean, I know at the time it's like hell, but once you overcome that, you're like, wow, now I know how to deal with the next guy easier. Right. So it's important.
Now I have a really good question. You say you got 6 units right now. You got 4 units, 4 plexes.
Yeah.
How are you managing those properties?
Okay.
Do you have
Property manager?
Right. So right now, because it's a special case because right now I'm in the market. I live in the market. All my properties are within 3 to 5 minutes from where I live. Okay. So that makes it very easy. And I'm a real estate entrepreneur. So I'm a real estate broker. So I have the time, flexibility, and I got the knowledge how to handle it. So for me, it's going to take minimal amount of time to manage the properties than somebody else. So the general public, the people that are they want to get started, I would suggest get a competent property manager. How do you find that? That's the key, right?
Right.
You got to make a lot of calls. You got to call the good real estate agents, the experts, the investors agents, and call them and tell them, hey, who would you recommend? And if everybody's pointing at one company, you probably should talk to the company.
Right.
It's very important.
Full of gems, man.
Thank you. No, I love talking about real estate. I mean, everywhere I go, 80% of the conversations are real estate because that's just who I am. And we haven't even touched about the education part, but I love real estate investing. It's practical. I mean, in what is it, 6 years, I was able to achieve over $1 million in equity.
That's amazing.
And financial freedom, moreover. Forget about being a millionaire. What about having freedom and living your life, not worrying about money in your terms?
Right.
That's powerful.
So it sounds like you're doing a lot of buy and holds. Are you right now doing any fix and flips?
No, I'm a buy and hold to the core. I believe in long term, and this is the thing. That's why people. I just don't understand why people do fix and flips entirely when they have their own capital to do it. I don't understand why they don't just do the BRRRR method, because if you have $100,000 right now, and you have a market where you can do the BRRRR method, just like the example that I told you, buy it for 50, fix it with 20, okay, and you can do the BRRRR method. Why the hell would anybody do a fix and flip if the renovation is gonna be 20% less, the projects are gonna take less time, okay, and you can multiply your capital, and that's the real wealth. Long-term buy and hold, that's the real wealth, because fix and flip is a business. I mean, if you stop doing it, like everybody says, if you stop doing it, the income stops, right? Unless you have systems in place, but you always have to manage. I mean, you always have to manage these deals.
I have a question for you. So what if somebody has the money to do the BRRRR strategy, let's just say they want to go ahead and refinance the property,
Right.
but since they are, self-employed or entrepreneurs, and they might not have those 2 years of W-2s, or they haven't been an entrepreneur for they haven't had 2 years self-employed taxes. How can they refinance?
Okay, excellent question. So one, you can have a partner or somebody that has the credit. That's a quick question. That quick answer. The second answer would be, there's people out there. You're talking about traditional, right? You got to be creative now. So traditional banks, yes, they will look at your credit, remember, right? But you forget that there's also people with a lot of money that will be able to give you the money as long as they're secure with a deed of trust, secure with the property. If you don't pay, they take the property. So you don't see, that's what I'm saying. So the money's there. You just need to find the people that want to make that 5% interest, 4% interest, 6% interest. Right? And they may not even check all that. There's a private money, people that are willing to lend you money. Now, they may, imagine they're long-term investors holding a note, right? So they may do it for 30 years, 20 years, right? But the point is, you can do it. Don't ever limit yourself with
It's
that.
like seller financing, basically. You're just finding another party to go ahead and do the finance part.
Yeah, the long-term financing. There are people like that, and there's people that are maybe the smaller companies or even private people that could do that. Okay, it depends on. You got to find the people that have the money, and the risk tolerance obviously is a lot different from the banks, right? So you got to find that, and I think it's possible. So don't ever limit yourself. And how do you find those people? Real estate investor associations. There's a bunch of people with money. They're either finding deals, right, for them to rent or to fix and flip. Some other people are willing. They invest in notes. They hold the paper, like they finance money, and they hold it. And guess what? When you have a note, when you're the owner of a note, you can resell the note.
Yeah.
If you want the money. So that's what I love real estate. There's so many ways this can go
Absolutely.
about. So
are you currently doing any lending?
No, but I do have some capital that I could, and I've been playing with the idea.
Okay.
But I haven't done that.
So
I'm more active.
We might have to talk after this podcast. I have a few deals
but you know what I mean. It's just like it depends. It depends on the situation. But absolutely, if the deal makes sense. At the end of the day, lenders have to look at the risk, right? So that's why the hard money lenders look at 70% of the after repair value, or they look at their numbers, right? They make sure that there's no, like even if you default, there's no risk on their end.
Right.
Because they can go ahead and resell the property. Right, resell the property and get their money back, etc. So they protect themselves.
Yep.
So you mentioned the asociación, which is the association of Hispanic real estate investors, or anybody that go ahead and explain that to us.
Okay, so I am an investor's agent broker, right? So I ended up doing a few videos back in, I want to say 2017, 18 in Spanish. I was toying with the idea. I said, my Spanish is getting a little rusty. Let me do some videos. And I'm very passionate about real estate, so I talk about real estate. And then towards, I want to say, end of 2019, I got really a little more doing videos. And I got people coming in from New Jersey, New York to my office in Hagerstown. Drove hours to go to my office, right? Because I did Facebook Lives and I would share it. I was ballsy enough to share it across the groups. And some blocked me, right? But some people listen. Some people listen, and they came to my office, like they just flood my office, okay? And I'm like, what's going on here? There's something going on here. Christian, look. BRRRR method, I call it método CAR. Compra, regla, renta, refinancia, repite. So the BRRRR method, I basically translated in Spanish, right?
Right.
And most Hispanics, number one, they don't know the BRRRR method. They don't even know much about real estate in general, okay? They don't even know that they could multiply their capital. And some Hispanics have money. Some Hispanics have mattress money. They have $50,000, $100,000, and they don't trust. After 2008, they don't trust people like that, right? So, but when they see the videos and they're learning, they're naturally driven to talk to me about it, right? And then guess what? I found out that there's a lot of ignorance, a lot of skepticism, a lot of fear in the community. And I've always wanted to be a leader, but I didn't know how. But I aligned my passion educating the Hispanic community. So I founded La Asociación de Inversionistas de Bienes Raíces, and it was supposed to be a RIA in the DMV, Maryland, DC, Virginia. But it grew so quickly that it's become national now, and we do videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, educating at no cost in the Facebook group. We got meetings every month in the last 6 months, and every meeting we had over 200 people. And you guys were invited in one of them, right? What do you
Yeah.
guys think about it?
It was amazing, man.
It's amazing. I was gonna go ahead and you
Yeah.
explain it first. Okay, so my favorite part about it is what I took from it is the ending. I won't lie to you. You give out valuable information, but then you also, I feel like you have the Hispanic community back.
Yeah.
And what is the catchphrase that you say at the end? I love
Yeah,
it.
so at the end, it's like our chant, right? It's like what I make him, and it's true, it's a fact. Like, we're more than construction workers, house cleaners, or restaurant workers. You know, we are real estate investors. That's what I say. We, like, when I do, you have 200 people behind me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on, everybody? I said, what's going on, everybody? Today is proof. I said, it's proof, and I look at them, it's proof that we are not only house cleaners, construction workers, or restaurant workers. We are also real estate investors, and everybody yells. They go nuts.
the top of their lungs.
They go nuts, man, because that's the culture. That's about leadership. Leadership is about having a vision and then pushing everybody, reminding everybody, making people excited about that vision so much that they take action. Okay, so that's about leadership, and I learned about that. Remember, 3 years ago, I want to say, no, not even a year and a half ago, I was in my place doing a Facebook Live, and only like 10 people live, and I was crazy saying, oh, one day we're gonna have 100 people yelling, you know, we're real estate investors in an auditorium.
Wow.
And at that time, there's only 10 people watching me on Facebook.
You spoke it into existence.
A year and a half later, bro, we had 200 people, and they were yelling that. And not only that, the culture was built. I mean, right now, people, you go to the group, the Facebook group, people are like in the field. We have our chant too, in the soccer field, right? In la cancha. But I'm like in the field of real estate investing. And people just assimilate that. They believe that so much, they take action. We have dozens of people that thanks to the association, they were able to do their first, second, third deal.
Yeah, we were able to talk to some people there that come to the events, and they go to every single event, and they're coming from Florida, from New York, and they're talking to us. And they're telling us, like, you know, what they're doing, and it's amazing.
No, and think about that. Some people come from Miami. We got like 5 people that have come on the last 3 events from Miami. This is
We met them. We met a couple.
This is a $50 event. Of course, it's 4 or 5 hours, but there's a few people came from California. They pay $1,500 to come to a $50 event for 5 hours. When they call me and they said they're coming from California, you know, this is like a 5-hour event, right? This is not a 3-day seminar or anything like that. It's like, Christian, in California, there's this dude charges me $5,000 for 90% of the information you're giving out for free. I want to know you. He came.
Amazing. I'll tell you what. I met a guy. His name is Jimmy. I'm gonna shout him out.
Oh yeah.
So Jimmy
Shout out to
is a chef for a catering company, and I remember him like it was yesterday. Right.
Oh wow.
He was so happy because he was on his second property already.
Wow.
I think he was doing a buy and hold, but he was fixing it up. And he's like, "Yeah, man, and I'm still a chef, but I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna quit probably next month, man. I'm gonna do it. But you want to see my houses?" And he like pulled out his phone and he's
amazing.
like, "Check out my houses." And he was so proud about it. And that's because of you.
And that's the people that connects, because it's true. We in the Hispanic community, man, we're 60 fucking million people in America.
Yeah.
And we are in construction. We own construction. I mean, we are in construction to the point where all we need to do, and some of us are already like managers, you know, contractors, okay, business owners, but we need to switch, man. We build these buildings that are multi-million, $30 million buildings that we build, right?
We need to start owning it.
We need to fucking own them, and we need to get together. And here's the thing: skepticism and fear makes people worry that people are just gonna fuck them over. They're not gonna do business together, or they're gonna get taken advantage of, lose money. But the reality is, if you create that's what we're creating. We're creating a good faith community, working in good faith. That's what we push always. And then what happens is, in the future, we're gonna get together. 100 people putting $100,000. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. We can buy a building. And the vision, if I could share, the association's vision is to take every person in America that's Hispanic to financial freedom using the power of real estate investing. And how we're going to do it, this is our mission, is we're going to create an environment of education, motivation, and community in good faith. I always repeat that. And that's the other thing about leadership is you have to get people excited. And that's the vision. You got to repeat it with passion. You got to repeat it like it's already there. And when I'm talking to them, they believe me so much. Jimmy is one example of it. He believes it. I mean, he gets connected. And by the way, Jimmy already quit, I think. Because I was doing that. I was doing that intensive class of seller finance. He's like, yeah, I'm quitting like next week. So
shout out to Jimmy.
Shout out to Jimmy, man. He's doing big things.
No, and we got Fernando, man. Fernando, if I can share the quick story. Fernando basically, man, he's from Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
And he calls me on a Friday. He says, Christian, look, I just finished a flip in New Jersey. And this guy told me that you were from Peru and you're teaching Hispanic people. And I watch you and you talk about Hagerstown, Maryland. Yo, I want to go. I'm looking for my next flip. And I'm going to pass through Hagerstown. I want you to show me 3 properties. And I'm like, this guy's just saying that. I mean, who does that? I mean, from a video, are you kidding me? But I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it, right? Sunday comes in, it's 9 a.m. Hey, Christian, did you schedule the shows? I'm like, I didn't do it. I was like, yeah, sure, yeah. So I did them, right? We go to the property. He sees the property. He says, yep, let's send that offer. What do you think, Christian? It's like, I think this. He's like, okay, let's go. Wow. Like that, bro. And I'm thinking, this guy, even people that have 5 flips, they think it a little bit longer. Yeah. I'm like, yo, how many flips have you doing, man? He's like, this is my 2nd flip. And I'm like, how do you have that confidence? Like, he tells me, Christian, 1, I trust you, and 2, I did my numbers and they concur with yours. So let's go. Guess what? Have another contract sold and made $45K. Okay.
Love it, man.
Now, but check this out though. Check this. This is the important part, guys. When he was under contract, he brought his van. His van had all his tools, a mattress, bro, a mattress.
Oh, he was living in his van.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
And guess what? He lived in one of the rooms and fix and flip, made $45K. And right now he has 3 properties and one 5-unit, 6-unit building under contract.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
I mean,
that's how, when you fucking want it, you can have it. You need to work though.
I'm speechless.
That's sacrifice. I mean, who's willing to do that? I mean, you tell me. Who's willing to do that?
Not too many people.
Yeah, not too many people.
And his family's in Atlanta. His family's
his kids, his wife,
everything,
and he's in a van.
And he believes in the vision that he has, and he aligns with the vision of the association. So he comes to every meeting. He does Facebook Lives because he's in Hagerstown. So I do Facebook Lives. He got private money because people see passion and work and sacrifice. People will throw money at you if you show that you're a good character, you're doing the work, and you sacrifice.
Here's the most important, that you mentioned that, right? Like, if you believe in your dream so much, you start making people believe in your dream as well.
Absolutely. And guess what? He's 58 years old. He's 58 years old.
It's never too late.
This guy should chill, man. I mean, even if he doesn't have money, most people chill. He's 58 years old. He has more energy than a fucking 30 years old because he has a vision. And he surrounds with people that have the vision. And he just, gets his head down and he does the fucking work. That's amazing.
That is amazing.
So the association, if I can replicate that across the association and create a culture like that, I mean, I'm telling you, Hispanics in the not so distant future, our kids are going to walk in every downtown of America and they're going to say, that building is mine, my parents, or my grandpa. That's going to happen. It's already happening. Now, how fast we'll get there where we're known not for, house cleaning, construction workers, and restaurant workers, how long will it take until everybody will know when they think of Hispanics, they will think real estate investing, fix and flip, buy and hold. They will think about getting together and buying multi-million-dollar properties. That day is coming, and I'm just helping that. I mean, I'm just pushing it farther with the association. So that's a passion of mine. I think you can see that I'm very passionate about that.
Of course,
because my parents came into America in 2013. They bought a townhouse in Landover, Maryland for $40K, $45K. They fixed it up for $15K. It's worth right now $250. Have they seen a Christian? Have they met an association in 2013? They would have gone to Peru, sold a bunch of stuff, come here, and bought 3 other properties that were 35, 40, 45. They would have created close to $1 million faster because of that opportunity that was in 2013.
Right.
But they didn't have the confidence, they didn't have the information, they didn't have the community. Now in the DMV or nationally, if you speak Spanish and you're not in the association, you're crazy. If you want to get into real estate investing, I mean, it's free information that's valuable, and that's what people like. That's why people drive and fly from California, Miami, Florida, Ohio, North Carolina, Texas, because that value that we provide. So for everybody who's trying to create a community, I mean, you have to create value, be transparent with them, and be a leader, which is having a vision.
So I want to get into that next, right? Talking about leadership, talking about growing a following, talking about growing an association, right? Give us some pointers, right? If you want to grow an audience, right? You know, grow you know, a community. It's more than just, you know, people who watch you. It's a community. So talk a little bit, you know.
Okay, you know, of course, I've never done a class, but if I could tell, because I've done it, right? I've done it, I've built it to a certain extent, and people get impressed, because how do you get 200 people in an auditorium so easily every month, right? That takes some work.
Absolutely.
So I think the first thing is you have to do it, you have to be very, very constant. You have to be persistent. You have to be, disciplined. You got to do it a lot. So you got to find a medium. I chose Facebook Live, okay? And I talk about what I enjoy talking about, right? And you constantly educate people. I think the biggest thing, I don't know about you guys, but when I go to buy a car and somebody comes in, it's like, hey, back up a little bit. Now, when they come and they say, look, what are you looking for? Let me tell you about this car, this feature. I sit there, show, you know what I mean? I get the experience educating me. He educates me. I'm sold because I'm learning. So it's the same thing for me. It's like I educate everybody that speaks Spanish about real estate investing, strategies that are powerful. But not only strategies that are powerful, strategies that I have done. So I have confidence to talk about them to a certain extent. And then when people see that confidence, when people see that passion, people are just, and not only that, but you have a vision. Everybody wants to be part of something big. When I go out there and I said, one day your kids are gonna walk in every downtown of America, and Hispanics are gonna own buildings in every downtown of America, people wanna be part of that. And when I tell them that, you know, every Hispanic, the goal, the vision is to get them to financial freedom through real estate investing, they believe that. They wanna be part of that. So I think you have to have a vision. You have to repeat the vision. You have to get them excited through your passion, educate them, bring guests. Like what you guys are doing, you're growing a following. Eventually, this is going to grow. I mean, people are watching here. They're interested in taking action, entrepreneurs. I mean, they are interested in getting into a business, doing a startup. So they're learning. Now, people that came in, maybe they never heard of seller financing. So that's going to be a good seed in their heads to start researching on that. So that's the beautiful part. You're creating value to them, right?
Absolutely.
Now, what you have to do is you got to do this constantly. Now, you have to have a vision. What's the Take Action Entrepreneurs? Do you guys have a vision? You should have a vision.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have a vision. I mean, we sat here and we thought about it and we said, hey, look, man, there's a lot of people out here in the world that want to learn about a business like we did in the beginning. We said, how do we start with real estate? We have the YouTube stuff. We have to go to events. But not everybody wants to get into real estate.
Right.
So we wanted a platform where we go ahead and bring all types of entrepreneurs onto this.
I love that.
Onto this platform.
Right.
Where they educate people that are on YouTube.
Right. And I want to chime into that. So so for me, I get a lot of DMs. I'm 20 years old, right? So for the people that don't know that.
Which is cool.
And I'm really young, so I get a lot of DMs, right, from people from high school, people that I know of my age, and they're confused about like what they want to do, or you know, maybe they want to be an entrepreneur, they want to start a business, they don't know what business to start, how to start. So I get so many DMs that I can't respond to these DMs. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna build a podcast. I love talking to people. I love talking to entrepreneurs, and I might as well talk to different entrepreneurs. And then, you know, they could watch our podcast, learn different businesses. They have options, and they could, you know, I could help people out, you know?
Right. So what I would do, so for instance, like the vision that I have for this is to take Hispanic people in America, right, to financial freedom through the power of real estate. So I would say get the vision that's precise and repeat it. And as you go and you repeat it, stories. You have to implant stories. I'll give you another thing that I do. Fernando, right? Fernando is somebody that I admire. And I know other people in the community will admire. His story is powerful. What I do is I do a Facebook Live. I interview them. I tell them, hey, look, or Fernando, what's going on? And I project him I give him a little more status. Like I elevate him. Why? Because I want to elevate people who inspired other people.
Right.
And we rise together.
Absolutely.
So Oswaldo, for instance, shout out to Oswaldo, has a bunch of properties in Baltimore. He's the VP of the association. He brings people up because he was a bartender 11 years ago. And now he owns a lot of real estate. So he's done the BRRRR method over 100 times, 165 times. Okay, so this guy is set, right? So, and he was a bartender 11 years ago. I mean, think about that. So that's that's powerful. So you want to elevate people. You want to create examples. You know why that works? Because we have this thing called social proof. So if that guy is doing it, that guy has 2 arms, 2 legs. I do too. He doesn't look like he's a genius. I'm not a genius too. I don't know. Most people may or may not be, but I'm saying I'm not a genius. I could do that.
Yeah,
he just learned and took action. So when you display people that have done it to people that are they thought it was impossible, and you show people that are just like them and even worse, like 10 years ago,
right?
And they made it, they're like, what the hell am I doing? I need to take action. So I think that's important. That's one of the things that made the association successful, because I'm able to manage that, right? You'll be able to manage it. And the culture, repetition, meetings in person is so important. We get people come in every month, 200 plus people come in, and the chant say like, hey, we are more than house cleaners, construction workers and restaurant workers. Repeating that because it grabs them. Every Hispanic in America has either worked for a restaurant construction or house cleaning, or knows somebody very close to them that have done it, okay, or a friend that has done it. So it's in our culture. Like everybody knows that. I mean, my mom was a house cleaner. My dad is a plumber, I remember very clearly when I was unclogging toilets with my father a long time ago when I was 16. Yeah. So everybody has done it or knows somebody has done it. So it's very powerful. So you need to grab that, your audience. Yeah. Who are they? And grab little things like that and create stories, find stories from people, right? And then display it. But repetition, man, repetition. Your job as leaders is to do that, to get them to believe in your vision. And I think repetition is so powerful. So.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, at this point in your life, you're helping out people by the thousands, okay? And so hopefully soon we're going to get there too.
Yeah.
And right now you're starting up your second business, which is actually going to help out the Hispanic community. Tell us a little bit about that second business you're starting up.
Yes, so I have a startup that is... it's an education platform. It's a tech company, right? So it's an education platform. So after remember, the association was created from a passion and because I wanted to be a leader, right? And I became one. I'm growing into the best leader I can be. But I saw that there was a need, okay? And there is a solution. It's the education I'm providing, right? But how can I get in front of 60 million people in America? Marketing. I need marketing money. So I need to have a business to do that. Therefore, but I also know, and this is important, proof of concept. Results. We have a bunch of people in the association that paid $5,000 to this other dude, this other guru, right? And 6 months later, they don't have a deal. A year later, they don't have a deal. But they are 3 months with us, they got their first deal, okay? So think about that. Because see, the guru sells your course, okay? But doesn't do the follow-up, doesn't push you, doesn't do constant value. So we do that. And we don't even charge like thousands of dollars. So we didn't have anything at that moment, right? So with the partner and I, we talked about the idea 2-3 years before, but I didn't have the confidence and I didn't know that it was going to work until the associations. I saw results in the association. So what we did is we created this education platform, which is called enlacancha.us, which is you could call it in the real estate investment field.us. And basically we have educational courses. We have a forum. We're gonna have tools and contracts eventually, right? Networking. So let's say a Hispanic guy in Maryland wants to invest in Houston, Texas. So he's gonna go in there. He's gonna learn what he needs to learn. Seller financing. There's courses on seller financing, BRRRR method, multifamily investing, right? It's only $29.99 a month, and we got 3 video courses for free. 3 video courses: how to wholesale from scratch, how to buy and hold from scratch, how to build your portfolio, and how to do fix and flip from scratch, free. Then we have in-depth programs, the $29.99. It's very conscientiously. People, if I really want to help the Hispanic community across the board, across the United States, am I going to charge $5,000 each? Can every Hispanic afford that?
Right.
No,
they can't.
$29.99, can they afford that? I mean, come on, $29.99. Every Hispanic can afford that, but the value they get is incredible. But let's say they go to Ford, they ask a question to experts, right? What about network? Let's say they want to go and find a contractor, a real estate agent, a lender in Houston. They just type it up, find it, and we're working. It's a work in progress, but that platform, see, the idea executed correctly, $100 million business. How long and how much work? It's a lot of work. But the idea executed correctly, it's $100 million business.
Absolutely, I believe it.
But that's the startup, right? It's a startup. So right now we're starting out, but passion. You have to build something that you have passion, and you have the good business partner. And that's why I told you, everybody should be a landlord, experience being a landlord or dealing with people, difficult people, because they can identify human nature. And when I chose my business partner, I used those abilities that I learned from that to see if this guy is trustworthy, if he's good nature, will he ever step on my neck? And if the answer is no, then I trust this guy, right? So you want to always work with people you trust. If your instinct is telling you, because you don't trust them in your house with your family while you go to the bathroom, that's a problem, okay?
Right.
So you need to, that's just a quick example. If you don't trust him, okay, then why would he be a business partner? You get it?
Absolutely.
So you have to be very, very delicate with that. But yeah, that's the education platform. So we educate, that's the goal. The vision of the association and the education platform is the same. Take Hispanic community faster to financial freedom with the power of real estate investing.
That's so awesome.
And make it affordable for everybody. So
absolutely.
Beautiful. So thank you so much, Cristhian. You
spoke
about 2 businesses that you have now. Well, the second one that's coming up. That's beautiful. Plan. And then the first one where you spoke about being an investor.
Before we go, I always like to ask our guests one question, right?
Yeah, sure.
For any entrepreneur in any industry wanting to start, what's the motivation that you can give them?
Okay, so for people that are getting started, I think a lot of times we forget, you guys have to have a vision. People talk about, my dream, this. You have to, I call it a vision. Okay, you have to, you have to repeat to yourself where you want to go. And sometimes, like lately, I wake up in the morning and I always say, look, I'm the greatest leader. It's the way I walk, the way I talk, the way I move. In Spanish, by the way, right? So if I want to lead and get the Hispanic community to the next level, to real estate investor, to become financially free, I need to have the stamina, because this is a 5-10 year game. And I need to believe that every year, every month, even the days that I don't want to do videos, that I need to push, because nobody else may not believe in me. Some people don't believe in me. They criticize me. I got to believe in myself. So for you guys that are watching and you're just starting out, you need to have a vision very solid, where you shouldn't care what other people say. If you are building something, it takes time. If you want to create a following, you want to create subscribers, you want to do what you guys are doing, it's going to take time, it's going to take work, it's going to take sacrifice. So don't get caught up with the short-term results. You think it's not working because of what people say, why are you doing that? I think you got to believe in yourself, you got to believe in your vision, and you got to repeat it every day. You got to be excited about it. If you're not, you're probably, you don't want to waste time, but you have to keep pushing. You have to be excited. I think find your passion and work at it and never give up. Just keep pushing. That's what I would say.
Absolutely, man. I love it. So that concludes our podcast for today. And remember, everyone,
keep taking action.